I'm J.R. Church. Welcome to today's webcast. Senior Hamas leader Khaled Mashal warned that if war breaks out with Israel, it will not be limited to the Gaza Strip. You remember the last one last year was limited to the Gaza Strip. And he says this one, however, will involve the entire region. He said this in an interview with the London-based Al Hayat newspaper that was published this past Friday. According to the report, Mashal said that Hamas was not interested in war and bloodshed. Listen to this. He said the last war was enough. Get that? He said the last war was enough, adding that if a war were forced on Hamas, the group would stand strong. So Hamas isn't interested in another war. I guess they were pretty well decimated the last time. The Hamas leader went on to accuse Israel of killing senior Hamas operative Mahmoud Abu in Dubai. He rejected reports that Hamas blames Arab states for Mahmoud's death and said that the Israeli Mossad was solely responsible for the assassination. I wonder how he knew that. Mashal's interview comes a day after a media blackout was lifted on the details of a joint IDF and Shin Bet, that's the Israeli Security Agency, operation to successfully foil a Hamas attempt in December to kidnap an IDF soldier and infiltrate 2 bombs into Israel from Egypt. 5 Hamas men were arrested on December 12, 2009, while trying to cross into Israel from the Sinai Peninsula. They were found to be carrying a gun, a silencer, and $15,000 in counterfeit U.S. bills. Now, if you recall, Hamas captured Gilad Shalit, a young Israeli soldier, and still have him in captivity. Israel's been trying to bargain for his release all these years. It's been like 4 years now, and the poor guy still is in Hamas custody. And they want to get another one. They want to kidnap another IDF soldier. I couldn't blame Israel for anything they did to Hamas. Well, here's another article. The State House overwhelmingly approved Delegate Mark Cole's bill. This is the Virginia State House. This past Wednesday, several other states have similar laws or are considering them. Cole said the right to privacy was the main reason he sponsored the bill. The bill puts a ban on microchip implants on humans or tattoos like the mark of the beast, all right? And this is the sole purpose that these state legislatures are taking up the bill. Cole said the right to privacy was the main reason he sponsored the bill. He said, quote, "I just think you should have the right to control your own body," end of quote. Cole told the Washington Post, some liberal bloggers were struck by such a pro-choice sentiment. They call it pro-choice, coming from a Virginia Republican. But what really got attention around the blogosphere was the other concern he expressed. He said, quote, "My understanding, and I'm not a theologian, but there's a prophecy in the Bible that says you'll have to receive a mark, or you can neither buy nor sell things in the end times," Cole explained to the Post. "Some people," he said, "think these computer chips just might be that mark." The book of Revelation describes the rise of an Antichrist figure called the Beast as the end of the world approaches, and will require everyone to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Cole isn't alone. In Tennessee, Representative Susan Lynn, who sponsored a similar bill, acknowledged the religious aspect of the debate. She said, quote, "In the Christian religion, and I'm a Christian, in the book of Revelation, there was a reference to, the mark of the beast. Some people interpret that to be one of these microchips." The Republican lawmaker told the Nashville Scene blog, quote, "Other people think it could be some type of tattoo." Now, Georgia's Senate approved a ban on forced implants last week. That legislation was sponsored by two aptly named lawmakers, Senators Chip Rogers and Chip Pearson. How about those names, huh? The microchips, which are about the size of a grain of rice, are also known as radio frequency identification, or RFID tags, and have been used for more than a decade, primarily in pets and livestock, but also in some humans. They can be used to store personal ID or medical records. Although California, North Dakota, Wisconsin already have laws on the books, chip implant ban skeptics, such as Virginia Delegate Bob Brink, doesn't see the need. This Democrat said that Cole's bill was a solution in search of a problem. If Virginia is starting to use California as our legislative role model, it's a sign that our legislative apocalypse has arrived, Brink said. Isn't it amazing? It's Republicans who are against implanting humans, and it's Democrats who don't see a problem. One more thing from the Haaretz news agency. This would be Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said that the United States believes Iran's Revolutionary Guard are driving the country toward military dictatorship and should be targeted in any new UN sanctions. She said this on Monday, that's today, speaking in Qatar before flying to Riyadh. Clinton denied the United States' plan to attack Iran and said Washington wanted dialogue with Tehran, but could not stand idly by while Iran pursued a suspected nuclear weapons program. In remarks to Arab students at Carnegie Mellon's University or campus in Qatar, Clinton said the Revolutionary Guard Corps in Iran appears to have gained so much power, saying that the Revolutionary Guard, we believe, is in effect supplanting the government of Iran. She said, this is how we see it. We see that the government of Iran, the supreme leader, and the president, and the parliament are being supplanted, and that Iran is moving toward a military dictatorship. That is our view. Asked if Washington planned to attack Iran, she replied, no, we're planning to try to bring the world community together and applying pressure to Iran through sanctions adopted by the United Nations, and will be particularly aimed at those enterprises controlled by the Revolutionary Guard, which we believe is, in effect, supplanting the government of Iran. Clinton has acknowledged that U.S. President Barack Obama's approach to Iran has not borne fruit, blaming Iran for refusing to engage and suggesting that a fourth UN Security Council sanctions resolution was the only option. What we are trying to do is to send a message to Iran, a very clear message, that we would still be open to engagement. We still believe there's a different plan for Iran to take, she said. But we want the world to stand united in sending an unequivocal message to Iran that we will not stand idly by while you pursue a nuclear program that can be used to threaten your neighbors and even beyond, she said. The United States continues to quibble, continues to complain, and Iran just moves right along with its nuclear program. The Bible says, I believe the Bible says that Iran will continue, will not be affected in any way by sanctions or even military strikes until the battle of Gog and Magog. And there, Iran will meet its maker. I'm J.R. Church. We'll see you again tomorrow with our analysis of the news.